Hello and welcome back to LEGO City Undercover. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we'll be clearing out Fresco. So let's get started, shall we? This area has some of the more frustrating challenges, or at least challenges that I have historically been frustrated by. It's also got some pretty interesting design, because of the way the buildings are all laid out and things like that. I also quite like that some of the stuff left behind leaves behind these little orbs, the little ice cream balls. That's a pretty neat little visual thing though. They don't just like randomly appear, you have to actually get them to spawn somehow. And they're not just randomly scattered, which makes it fairly satisfying because it ties everything together quite nicely. And it's a nice little jaunt down the road so we can get a good look at all the architecture and everything, because I quite like these styles of Venice style buildings. Especially in contrast to Papa Larder's ice cream factory, that's a pretty neat thing. So here you have the second ice cream ball, and this one will not be vanilla, thank goodness, because that's a boring colour. I quite like that we're making it match on the other side of the building as well. It's a nice little visual thing too. Yep, this one is pink. Maybe like some kind of passion fruit, maybe blackcurrant. I'm not really sure what. Oh, probably strawberry. I'm an idiot. Of course, it's going to be, according to the other bowl, it's going to be chocolate, strawberry and vanilla probably, because that would make sense. Neapolitan ice cream, after all. Italian. What else would it be? Not really a lot going on over here, but I quite like these warehouses. They're a pretty neat visual thing. They're very different to the rest of the area, so they have a bit of visual difference to the rest of the super Italian stuff. They're a very nice sort of practical nod to things as well. To show it's not all style, there is some business going on here as well. And they do take it seriously. It's not just old country fetishism all over the place. There is some modern architecture here as well, where it's needed, even if it's a little bit brutal. I mean, I know this doesn't quite count as brutalist architecture, more just industrial, but yeah. Honestly, like I said, it could have done with a little brutalism actually. It can be a little interesting as a contrast to the rest of the architecture of certain areas. For example, those buildings that like are like those weird foam buildings that are just big slabs of concrete, they can be kind of visually interesting by contrast to everything else. Nothing important down there, but I like that little paddle boat that spawned there, so I just want to take a look at that.
Hey!
This is a pretty nice stunt ramp. I quite like the position of this one because you can just jump the entire canal with it, and that's a pretty fun thing to be able to do. And of course it gives us Mikey spoilers, so how can I hate it? One of my favourite gags, him. I quite like him a lot. He was good. And stronger, my friend. Although I wouldn't hang out with him because, well, I definitely wouldn't see a movie with him. A nice standard little speedboat over here. Something nice and classic. And of course it's heavily canal based, which can be very annoying because this thing does not turn well. So there's a lot of sharp corners on this canal that this boat does not play well with at all. So this place can be a little annoying. Especially if you don't know what corners are coming, because it can really take you by surprise. Example right here. Whoops, I sailed right past where I was supposed to go. And then had a hell of a time turning around again. This is just fairly ridiculous, this part. I'm very close to failing on this mission, but luckily I managed to get through it, I managed to realise where it was and get back there in time. Barely. Because look how low the time's getting now. I'm really cutting it fine, aren't I, here? Not the hardest race, but the one of the more annoying layouts. Whoops! That could have been very disastrous as well. I'm just sucking all over the place in this canal, aren't I? I guess we can call this Venice the Menace. I refuse to apologize for that pun. Hello speedboat, I've got one of you already. You were a paddle boat earlier, that was cooler. I think that boat's just copying ours now because it knows it's kind of cooler. But I kind of prefer paddle boats, they're not seen much, and these kind of boats are sort of all over the place in games. Oh, Diamond doesn't. Sure, they control a bit better, but the paddle boats have personality that these lack. So these are more just standard chase scene boats, and that's a little bit dull after a while because they're so overplayed. But it's still nice to have the classics. Up here we have one of the most frustrating missions in this particular area, so I was really glad with what happened with this one because it was hilarious. I did not see it coming at all. Because normally I fail this mission 90% of the time I try it and have to try it a million times. It's my most attempted and failed mission in this entire game. Because this guy can go on a really mean route. Because he can take a lot of sharp corners, go down a lot of alleyways and be a big pain, but luckily his AI broke and he just got stuck. And then this happened and he just flipped and I just won. I think it's a full conclusion, mate. I hate this guy in particular, so I was really glad when that happened. I did not expect it. I was laughing my ass off recording that. We've seen how good that vehicle is. I don't particularly care about that. It just completely flipped. This, however, took me quite a while. I had to edit out quite a lot of failures on this race. Because it's a really obnoxious thing to have to take this ice cream van on. Because it's a very, very complicated route. A very long route. In the slowest vehicle in the game, pretty much. Look at, this is its top speed right now. It has no speed, it has very little handling, it's heavy as all heck, and it's just such a nightmare to drive this thing. Especially on the course it asks you to take, because there are so many jumps and things like that, and it's so easy for this ice cream van to tip. That was the primary cause of failure on this mission for me, in this run through, was this ice cream van kept tipping at crucial moments. One particular one I'll tell you about when we arrive there, but this is a really annoying race to do because of just how slow this thing moves. It's just not much fun to play. And you have to go through 2 entire areas with this thing as well. It's so ludicrous just how far it asks you to take it. And these jumps are very dangerous in it because of how bouncy it is. And then it asks you to take it in really tight places like this. It's just overall, it feels like a race designed for a different, smaller, nippier vehicle, like one of the performance vehicles, rather than an ice cream van. I mean, it's kind of funny watching it because it's got that absurdity to it. Oh, an ice cream van was a different flavour, that's interesting. It was lemon. And also, yeah, the soundtrack completely breaks. I don't know why it does it every single time of this particular race on every run to have had this game. The soundtrack always breaks at this exact moment in this race. So you just end up driving completely silently in an ice cream truck for forever, which is just ludicrous. Especially with how far we've got left in the race to go. It's a long race. Very long race. And now we have this massive jump, and look at how far this thing tilts. I could very easily have fallen here, but luckily it's bouncy enough I got away with it. And then we have to drive on the beach with this thing, as if the handling wasn't bad enough. It asks us to drive on the beach where there are dunes in the sand, which means it could easily tip here too. So I here decided to supply my own soundtrack by turning on the ice cream van's horn. Because it seems so fitting to finish a ridiculous stunt race, ludicrous jumps and everything in an ice cream van playing this music. This van is slow, its top is fast, it tips too easily, comes in last. Here we go, we're at the home stretch now, the hard part of the race is over. That one jump though off that rooftop just there, this ice cream van tipped 5 out of 6 times. This was the 6th time pretty much trying this race. It was ridiculous how often that happened. This ice cream van is the most annoying vehicle for that particular race, but it's done now. It's over, the healing can begin, and we can be back to more fun vehicle challenges. Kinda like its name as well, the Muncher. But now I have a slightly more fun one, because this is a much better vehicle to play with, so it's a nice palette cleanser. I like this little blue car, because it's not the ice cream truck, and it's got that nice little stripe down it as well, that makes it's a nice little kind of rally car, a nice traditional kind of, I believe NASCAR kind of a thing, with the little stripe. But now the stripe is sadly gone, along with most of the car. I didn't do well driving this thing. I made a mess of this car. It's basically the first step in the instructions right now. All we've done is put the bottom down and put the wheels on it. We haven't even bothered pulling out the rest of the things. We're close to being done with vehicle robberies now. There's very few of them left. It's a shame there's fewer often than the vehicle robbers, because the robbers are more annoying by far. So let's head back, shall we?
Really go for a burger?
How could you, really? I've just eaten, mate.
That's awesome.
Really, a burger in Italy? Are you crazy? At least find somewhere. I'm sure there's somewhere around here that does really good lasagna or spaghetti. I know it's a little stereotyping, but I do genuinely really enjoy Italian food, so even the crappy stuff still tastes really good. Even if the bolognese is a little bit watery because I got it from like a small local takeout thing, it's still pretty functional spaghetti that's pretty decently cooked and satisfying enough. So generally, I enjoy Italian food because I enjoy starch and meat combined. It's a nice combination of things. That's why I also quite like a lot of like pub lunches and stuff, like steak pies, things like that. Anything with a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of potato things in general, I have a pretty good affinity for. I can never go for fish and chips. I only ever go for pie and chips because I'm not a big fan of fish. So pretty much whenever I go out for a meal, it's always just a big old plate of starch, with of course some vegetables there too. I'm not a complete man-child. But here we have Bione Musca. And one thing I like about the rooftops in this area is that they're all linked. There's always this massive strip of roofs to play with. So there's never really a particularly isolated building, or a building that feels like it doesn't quite fit into the flow of the level. Because in this area, every part of the, every block has its own rhythm as you're going around it. And I quite like that. And of course, some of these blocks, because of the whole Venice thing, are actually connected by these overpasses over here. And I quite like that as well. It's a very fluid kind of feeling running around the rooftops in this area. It feels very good to navigate. I'm a big fan of this area in general because of that. I mean, this rooftop's fairly bare, but it's a nice enough rooftop anyway. And I do like the music as well that happens whenever you're close to Pappalardo's. It's a really nice little, very chill kind of instrumental theme that I really enjoy. The Fresco theme is probably one of my favourite soundtrack things in this game that isn't the finale. By which I've of course been falling to earth, that finale, because that's awesome. That's like the best actual song in this game, but this is a close second. This cat's actually in a fairly high place. Well done. It's not just being lazy. I'm kind of curious how many cats we have in that helmet because we never take it out. I'm kind of hoping that he goes back to the thing in the fireman in the post game and just empties out his helmet and you just see like 18 cats falling out of the helmet. Because that would be kind of hilarious. Just one after the other just... I'd really enjoy that if that was a bonus scene. It's a shame this game doesn't have those little moments because that would be really funny. Then again, it's just something you're not really meant to think about. They're just in hammer space right now. They're with the rest of our inventory with all these tokens and studs. They're just in the little pouch that you can't see. That definitely exists. No, totally. It's his little fanny pack. He's wearing it under all his clothes. This block is special. I quite like the little pink awnings and everything over the windows as well. Generally, this area does a really good job feeling very old country Italy. I mean, it does a very good job with that kind of visual stuff. Generally, this game does a really good job theming its areas in that kind of way. Although sometimes it can fall into a little bit of stereotyping. Like, this is literally just a part of Venice just cut and pasted. But it's a very nice part of Venice, and I quite like the way it flows and everything like that. They've definitely thought it through. They've not just placed things randomly. Like, the canal actually connects to the ocean, that kind of thing. It's not just like a canal in the middle of nowhere, like a half-assed theme park world level. Which generally I quite like how much thought they put behind all of these little areas like that, like how they all flow and everything like that, and how they all come together and fit together. And this is most likely the restaurant capital of the world as well, because of the whole Little Italy aspect, and Italian food being generally like one of the big things everyone knows about Italy is the food. Yep, this is special because it has the free one here. Because it ends on this little clock tower as well. I quite like this little tower as well. It's a very nice visual. And of course there is an upper level, but we can't quite get there yet. So we'll find out later.
What about a weekend break? What?
I do like the contrast over there as well between the little Italian style building terraces and then that massive skyscraper where it basically just like folds over into Forest Blackwell's area. It's a neat contrast between old country and old money, and I quite like that. It's a very nice visual to have like the Italian quarter being completely overshadowed by Blackwell's massive concrete slabs. It's a neat kind of visual aesthetic that they're right back to back as well. Because you have on one hand they have the people that everyone thought to be the actual villains, the Popolados, and then you have the character who was the real villain, Blackwell, right next to them as well, just kind of overshadowing them, looming over them, being the far greater danger. I mean, sure, Rex ended up bullying him, but Rex wasn't planning on incinerating his entire neighborhood with... Yeah, that rocket could have been really bad for this particular area because it was right next to it. This whole area would not have survived. That explosion wasn't anything, you can ignore that. Nothing happened, I didn't do anything, you can't prove anything. Look, we got a squeaky car. Isn't that nice? Pay no attention to the explosion. So let's see what's on top of this little area now. Right over the razor wire, that seems like a good idea, doesn't it? Not in any way foolish. Or dangerous. So let's climb the BITS building. I don't know what BTS stands for, so I just like to call it BITS. It's face planted right there. Luckily he's wearing a helmet. I didn't even notice how awkward the animation was there. Nothing special, just super bricks, but it's always nice to have more of them. Because we still have like 20 more super builds to go. Like the flow of that jump to that thing as well, though it felt a little awkward. You can tell what they were going for there. And here we have Lucky Pete. Nice guy. I hear he sucks at picking lottery numbers, so it's kind of a weird irony. And finally, on top of the clock tower, or as high as we can get with it anyway.
It is time,
So let's listen in.
Angelo. I am going to teach you the secret of my pizza recipe.
Thank you, Papa. I have waited for this day for so many years.
I know. Soon, you too will be able to win the heart of a girl just as I won the heart of your mother with my pizza. Now, pay attention. Hello, Vincenzo's Pizza. I'd like to order the usual. Yes, hide it under the doormat. Ciao. Don't tell your mother.
I like that little bit of subterfuge, that's cute.
You fool! Honestly, I can't trust that man to do anything right.
What has he done now?
I asked him to get the photos of a wedding blown up.
And?
The police just arrested him for buying dynamite.
Are you all ready for the big event?
You betcha. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Me neither.
The 14th annual Fresco Felon Fracas. It's at the docks again, right?
Uh-huh. I'm hoping to break enough stuff to win first prize.
You'll have to beat me first. Come on.
Oh man, the Fresco Felon Fracas cost the city a fortune every year. I better nip it in the bud.
I like the alliteration there on the Fresco Felon Fracas, although I've heard fracas pronounced in multiple different ways, from fracas to fracas. So I don't know what the official dictionary pronunciation is. I've always just gone for fracas myself. Feels less artificial and weird.
It's time for the Fresco Felon Fracas.
Also because it sounds like a potentially Latin loan word. And Latin traditionally has mostly hard sounds. Like of course Kaiser instead of Caesar, that kind of thing.
I don't suppose you're open to bribery. I hope I get my old
Maybe if I remember correctly, I think the pronunciation for the whole Veni Vidi Vici thing would actually be Veni Vidi Wiki. So there we go. So if I really get one over there, that would have been hilarious. But there we go. Swings and roundabouts wouldn't have worked as a saying. Now what am I saying? Let's just get on with the free one, shall we? And forget that slip of the tongue never happened. The worst part of these free ones is when you get to those blue horizontal bars and accidentally miss one, and it's just, oh, come on, really? Like that. So I decided, screw this. I'm gonna cheat. Just a little. I mean, they're gonna give us this, I might as well play with it. They didn't really give me the tool that was this powerful and expect me to play fair, did they? The entire thing. I mean, it's a long game. That's just ridiculous if it's suitable background, because there's no way to hit that on that particular jump. It's ridiculously silly, that one. Nope. Right over you. All these roofs just now, the blue things will just slow us down here. Kind of reminds me of Alexandria actually in Final Fantasy 9, the whole sneaking into the theatre a little bit with that rooftop because of all those little like bits of the roof kind of get stuck to, that kind of stuff. Feels like that sequence with the ladder. I have a feeling that Area's probably trying to ape the whole Italian visual anyway. It's got very similar architecture at least. At least in the rooftop designs anyway. It's a particularly interesting building because it's literally right on the border between well, Fresco and the King's Court. Which makes it a very interesting placement, because you're never really sure if what you get here, unless you look at the map and see that you're actually still in this area. Because when I actually came up here, I didn't know whether I'd end up crossing into King's Court along this building, or whether I'd actually be in the right place for what I was trying to get here. So of course this one's clearly still in Fresco, but on the other side of the building, it becomes a lot more blurred. Because here, this is pretty close to King's Court. If I jump off this balcony to the south, I'm in King's Court, pretty much. That's how close we are. Literally a single wall away from it. But in the Mammoth Skeleton, we get the Forest Blackwell Tuxedo. Actually, no, I think it was an elephant trophy. I'm an idiot, but yeah.
What is that smell?
Sorry, I am not feeling well. God. Such a judgmental NPC. Ridiculously rude woman.
I hope I get it.
I'm sure you'll get that job, mate. You'll be fine. I quite like when NPCs get a little bit of dialogue like that actually like imply a kind of little story that they're going through. It's always more fun than GTA's. NPCs are always just like, get out of the way, doofus, that kind of thing. Where they're just kind of there to get in the way a lot of the time. But in this game, there's a lot of like little lines that imply some kind of unknown story that you're not privy to. And that's always something a bit more satisfying to me. So yeah, this is the blue colour swapper, so let's... Oh, where did that go? There we are. So let's head up this rooftop now. That was an awful noise, don't ever make that noise again. So I was playing the Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix game, and I was lighting torches, and for some reason it kept making this awful screeching sound. Whenever a torch would light, it would screech really hard on the soundtrack, as that the game just broke. It was like, no, I can't handle fire effects, I'm literally going to scream at you till you stop making them happen. Obviously this isn't how we're meant to get up here, but forget it. I have a jetpack. And it's a faster way across this rooftop anyway. And this rooftop's quite maze-like. There's a lot of stuff to do here that's very easily missed. Because you have to go up and down here to actually see where everything is. But here we go, there's also links to this other rooftop as well. It's a really intricate set of rooftops, this one. A lot happens up here. I like the view of Papalado as we get up here though. And that promises the other roof to the north there. Of course, you might be expecting an alien, but this is a bit more interesting. We in fact get the chocolate ice cream ball. Or what will soon be chocolate anyway. Let's make it like a dung beetle and get it to his ice cream place by rolling it.
I'll get a smoothie.
There we go. That's one thing from there. But this ice cream thing, because of the colour swapping thing, it actually gives us two things. Collar Jerome's character token. You might have been expecting a super brick, but no, a second character token. All crammed together, these ones, aren't they? I wonder who this could possibly be. Pretty tracksuits, interesting.
Where am I?
Seems like a nice guy, but kind of inconsequential. Let's head into, appropriately enough, this little bank area. I quite like all the little Italian flags and stuff, but kind of Lego-fied. That's a pretty nice visual. I quite like that they have like a knife, fork and spoon on the Italian flag. It's kind of a funny little nod to the whole Italian foodie stereotype. In that door there's really just a small super brick and a couple of vending machines, so I kind of ignore that one because I do not need the vending machines. I figured I'd point it out, people have asked before in the comments on these videos, oh, what was in that door? And often it's just something inconsequential, like a vending machine that I'm ignoring. But up here we have a caged red brick, we have the flowers to plant. We have a lot of stuff going on up here, so let's play around with it all, shall we? Though this area's layout is a little annoying to navigate, because it's very maze-like, as you will see. Because all these big, graty, like these big, like, net kind of vine things that are kind of keeping us separated from everything else. It's a fairly irritatingly designed area because of it, because there's just so much stuff in the way here. You have to take such a roundabout, circuitous route to get where you need to get to. Which is, of course, the top left. So we have to go all the way around here, then all the way around in the inside of the sea. This is just an overly circuitous route to take, and it's kind of annoying to navigate. But we're nearly done with it now. Finally, we can get in here and get another red brick. Always nice to have. And that super brick's going to be 2,000. Who cares? We have 283. Finally, full rescue, which means if we fall off a level, I believe it means we won't lose studs. I think that's what that means. It traditionally, I forget. I did get it. It's traditionally what that means. I think. I can't remember. It's been a while since it's been relevant to the game for me. Because by the time I get full rescue, I often just have so many studs, like so many of you guys. I mean, look at this. It's always kind of amazing, and I think the LEGO games actually don't have any kind of cap as well. I think the number just keeps going. Cause I think in at least one LEGO game I did manage to get like into the billions just because I was messing around and seeing how many studs I could get with 4 multipliers on and just breaking everything in sight. And having the 100% cheats on that often happen in those games, but of course we won't mention what that is. Because we haven't got there yet, we'll see that when we see it. But we have seen it in the menu a few times, so we know it's going to get us something interesting. Consider that a teaser. No one's home.
I need to be.
Shame. So let's explore the rest of these little back alleys, shall we? Of this nice, very colourful area. You'd think Italians would know not to leave the fire going when doing barbecues. I mean, that's just poor chefsmanship or whatever. And here we have a fairly well hidden cash machine to play with. By play with I mean punch to pieces. Seriously, it comes to that image we get like 200 a pop for that. It's really not worth it, mate. Why are you still stealing from those machines? We have 116 million. We are set for life. So yeah, here we're continuing on that one rooftop. So let's see what's over this way, shall we? Before we do that, of course, that's what I want to do over here. Namely, getting that character token, because it's a little out of the way. I don't want to have to come all the way around this rooftop again. Only one time. Tony was a cute gag as well, but he's only really got that one line, which is fitting, because any other line would probably be redundant for him. He's probably said every line he can possibly say at this point, and he'll probably run out of things to say by the end of his life. And that will be a sad time for Tony one time. He won't even be able to ask anyone for help, because he's already said that once in his life, I bet. Poor guy. Stuck in an eternal silent limbo. Every single thing he says dooming him to another year of complete silence. Let's have a moment of silence for Tony one time. That seems like long enough. This is a fairly stratified drill fill, and I quite like it for that. It always feels a lot more satisfying when they have that severe stratus going on than when it's just a single flat plane you just have to drill around, because otherwise it feels kind of mindless. At least it's where you have to kind of plan a route and be a little clever with it, even if that route's just top to bottom. So now let's climb Popolados, because we have something else to do here as well. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy went wee 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 all the way to the cannon, where he was blasted on his way home. Sorry mate, everyone knows cars can't beat pigs, that's why they're stopping. They all know that I would win. Pigs are like moose in that way. You don't want to hit one with your car, they will mess you up. They're just a solid box of garbage that they've been eating for their entire lives. Let's rescue him, because there's a lot of heavy meats when it comes to Italian food, and this pig is in danger here because of it. There we go. So back up here again to finish off this rooftop that we saw earlier. We stopped here last time, but let's see what goes further on, shall we? Wonder where that leads. We'll find out. After breaking down this, I'm releasing a character token. He's just a folded version of Salvatore Pizza. I'll see you next time. We have now cleared out this area, so goodbye. And we'll see what happens next.